who has a product-based brand. This is Lopa, yeah, so Van Der Mersch, Van Der Mersch, did I
And
pronounce that
immersive.
correct?
Correct.
I've been a long admirer of Lopa's work and her company RASA, which is an adaptogen-based coffee alternative, or even I think you have a coffee break, a coffee drink too. I think bold, the
Yeah.
coffee mix, oh, so
There.
good.
Yeah.
And we're based out of
Okay.
Colorado. Can you remind us, please, Lopa, where in Colorado you are based from? And welcome to the show.
I'm in Boulder. Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. Cool.
Fantastic.
Does it
Yeah.
work?
And so in Boulder, Colorado, and I have my little packages here. I like to hype up my people, but these are some delicious products, and we are entering the retail season. So this is definitely a product worth checking out. No, I don't have an affiliate link yet. Yes, I probably should, but that's okay because they're just really, really delicious products. I've been using them for years. I really respect that they are herbalist, clinically formulated, and have been for a long time. They really pay attention to the actual term adaptogen and what adaptogens can really do. There's still so much on lack of clarity around adaptogens, especially amongst people who are regular tea drinkers. And I do get those questions quite a lot, Lopa, being in the tea field quite often that people still have about adaptogens. So maybe start off a little bit with the conversation. Why did we form RASA? What came to be, and why did you see the need in the market to do something that you're doing now?
Yeah. Rasa was born out of my own personal need for it. I had just a for the record book stressful year, and then had a baby, my first baby in the middle of that. And my nervous system was really fried. I wasn't much of a coffee drinker already, but all of my friends, including my diehard herbalist friends and Ayurveda friends, were like, this is just when you guzzle coffee. And because I was like, I needed something to keep me going. And when I did drink coffee, it just exacerbated everything. I was just too fried. And so I'd have, panic attacks and irritability and all that fun stuff. And I am not an herbalist, just to be clear about that, but I've been an herbal enthusiast for a long time. My now ex-husband, when we first met, he came over to my house and he like went through all the jars and was like, "You have a lot of herbs." And so I knew that this need for something that would nourish me as well as energize me was very palpable and distinct. I needed something that was both grounding and uplifting. It needed to have a balance of yin and yang. And I looked for everything. I looked at everything on the marketplace. This was back in 2015, and I was like, wow, I'm really surprised that nobody has made like the apotheosis of coffee alternatives. There's this whole panoply of incredible herbs, and coffee is one of the most culturally accepted bitter tastes in our culture, and a lot of the adaptogens just aren't that tasty. And so I worked with an herbalist, and I had been into adaptogens for a long time, since way before they were cool, and was like, wow, if we could just get these herbs into people's daily lives, what kind of culture shift could that even include, even if it was just 1% of people? So that got me really motivated and really excited, and Rasa was born.
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting to see your brand, and I mean, and what's now happened and what's now occurred as a result. I mean, there's definitely a section of the market now completely devoted to coffee alternatives. I mean, even the fact that people who are generally coming in and looking for the word coffee alternative or dandelion definitely speaks testament to what's going on in the industry. And then to be able to, in the consumer mind, to compare the results or to have the questions that naturally occur, like, okay, do I drink this as a powder, added to the water? Whereas I really like that your product is brewed. There is a steeping process that occurs, and that you also mentioned specifically how much of each extract or herb is in the teas themselves. So they're all just very solid products, and they do work really well. I mean, I've been a fan for a very long time, Lopa. There was like once this story where I think it was about your starting phase where you were at a farmer's market table or a local table, I think carrying a child, maybe your child, and you had a French press. Is that the origin? You had your first batch at a local thing?
Yeah, we first launched at, it was actually an herb fair for the Colorado School of Clinical Herbalism. And I'm actually going to be selling there in a couple at their holiday fair this year. So that'll actually be the 10th anniversary of launching Rasa. Yeah, there with my
Beautiful.
baby.
Yeah, we recently hosted Lisa Ganora on our show, so it's
Really
wonderful,
cool.
and it speaks well that you're so focused on local as well. I think, are you recently partnered with Whole Foods in Colorado specifically, and is that just because you wanted to keep it within your regional scope, keep it focused on local and sustainable for you as a company?
Yeah, yeah, that was a big part of it. We're in the Rocky Mountain region, which does cover, I think it's like 9 states, but it's kind of this area around Colorado. And yeah, we wanted to be in stores that we could more easily support and just have more connection with the local community.
Yeah, I can imagine that it's one thing to go from like having a small batch brand to a concept to then being able to have a product that you can scale. I really do like how on your website you have a lot of information about what adaptogens are. You break down a lot of this fluff around it, this jargon, really cleverly and really just kindly. And you give a lot of sustainability pledges and transparency. What kind of connections should other businesses look to in regards to that? What was your reasoning behind that? What kind of place do you see Rasa having in that sustainability and plant picture in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's critically important, and it's interesting too as you get to more of a I wouldn't quite say we're at commodity scale, but we're in a larger market and we're buying larger quantities of herbs, and it is much more herb buying becomes more of a commodity type transaction. It becomes much more transactional at some of these levels. And so we have had a lot of suppliers say, like, wow, we really appreciate that you do relationship-based buying. We buy direct as much as we can. We like to have real connections with the people that we're getting our herbs from. And I would say, as much as possible, if somebody's doing their own business, it's really great to be able to have those direct connections as opposed to going third party, which, when I started Rasa, I was buying from Mountain Rose Herbs, so that's, and that was also, a company that I trusted and still trust very much and buy my own personal herbs from them usually. But it's really great if you can, if you have local connections, if you have local relationships with any herb growers, it's just really, very enriching, and uplifts the whole ecosystem to do that. And then in terms of where I see Rasa long term within that, one of the things that we are starting to look at, which is a little bit complex because we're sourcing a lot of different herbs from a lot of different countries, but we would really like to start making the move into regenerative. And one of the things that I've found that's very important, because we have been pushing the envelope in a lot of different ways with our packaging. We did a lot around compostable packaging. Our packaging is currently not compostable, and that is because we that's a whole thing, but it was very, very, very difficult, and we tried mightily to get compostable packaging for Rasa. And pushing for more sustainability and asking about how they treat the farmers, and all of those things signal that the market cares, that people care and they want that. And so even if, you ask and you ask and you ask and you keep getting no's, people, like, if we at Rasa get a lot of requests for a certain product, like people just keep asking for a certain thing, it's like, wow, everybody seems to want this. And so I think it does help to move the industry a bit in even these micro ways. And so we're asking and inquiring about regenerative, which in some countries is a little bit more difficult than others. But at least on some of our more commodity type herbs and ingredients, we were hopefully hoping to make the shift there.
And then if we could shift to, I mean, you brought on an herbalist few years ago, Ben Levine. I remember meeting Ben. I think we both spoke at the Herbal Entrepreneur Conference, digital conference. So this was a few years ago. And I think it was such a wonderful addition to bring on a clinical herbalist to fortify. And now I see so many other brands doing the same. So I do feel like Rasa has been so innovative and leading the way in how like product-based brands and herbal brands represent themselves. And it's just an excellent way to go about it. What a great asset to bring on your team and to bring more clinical knowledge to the actual way you formulate your recipes.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really, really glad. In fact, we hard launched in 2018, and Ben has been with us pretty much since that time. So he's been with us for quite a while. And yeah, in as adaptogens and more herbs become more popularized, I think it's increasingly important for there to just be that grounding in science and tradition. And I think it's, there's so many companies out there that do still, what we call in the industry fairy dusting, where it's like, oh, this ingredient is trending. Great. Let's put 10, 15 milligrams in there, and depending on the herb, most of them won't do very much at that level. And so, yeah, we consult the science, we consult tradition, and we also, because Ben, we're looking at the broader ecosystem too, if there are ecosystem sustainability concerns and that sort of thing. We're looking into also the long term of that, not just what's happening right now. And those are all some of the advantages of having an herbalist on staff. He's
Absolutely. Not
incredible.
to mention,
Um,
like, maybe your recipe shouldn't use a certain ingredient because you intend on, having people fill their cups with adaptogens for 10, 20 years from now. I love that.
yeah,
It's so not based in the moment, what's trending, but really how are we going to impact people's lives, their health. So
yeah,
I truly feel that. And you've always had some robust arms to building retail that are very creative as well. Really excellent affiliate programs. I finally, oh gosh, I think the best French press from you guys this recent month. It was like the best little French press and these little
Uh,
packets. And then immediately it was like, I was immediately given an invitation and join like a club type of atmosphere and be able to promote the products and make some sales and join other deeper initiatives and look into your merchandise rather. And so, you have had other kinds of creative ways to build this independent movement for the brand. And then you've also had like clinical practitioner programs that I thought were really interesting and wholesale partner programs that were very accessible to a lot of different people. Do you still run that practitioner wholesale people program? People can set
yeah.
up their
Yeah,
products.
and we started that because we just saw that there were so many health practitioners that were recommending Rasa to their clients, and we were like, oh, we would much rather give you money than Facebook, and so we're like, let's incentivize and support that and make sure that everybody wins along that because sometimes people were sending us a lot of customers, and we were like, oh, we really want to thank you for that.
Yeah, no, it was really excellent. It definitely of this cultural approach of building a brand and also again reiterate the fact that there are other people who really appreciate herbs who can then promote it to the other people and these are good products to use in their practices. So it was a really smart and innovative way to build culture with your brand for sure. I love it. I think the original blend is truly good. That's the adaptogen coffee alternative that focuses so much on just general herbs that people are just getting to know and are getting more excited about. And then I've really enjoyed the cacao rose blend. That's just so delicious and heart opening with that cacao. It's delicious. But I have to say my favorite is the calm. I really do. Or I guess relaxation or calm. I guess it's the same product now. It used to be called calm.
It is still
um,
calm. Yeah, those are some packaging that a special run of packaging that we did to test at retail, and so the
oh,
messaging hierarchy is a little bit different. And we ended up not going with that, which was part of why it was such a banging sale that we did a couple weeks ago.
it was, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think it really got a lot of attention again, and I was really just so excited to see such great blends and the French press combined. It just really put the power back in my hands to say, yes, I'm gonna restart this, reinvigorate my cycle using these adaptogens. And my new favorite is the chai. It's the golden chai, which has no tea in it. I really appreciate that it's just an all herbal chai. and it uses frankincense and turmeric extract. I've seen such significant improvement. I think when we originally talked about this interview, you went and made it. So I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it really is such a great product for post working out and exertion. So just really a lot of really lovely products that you're having on your main menu now. Is there a particular favorite that you like to have?
You mentioned our brew products, and I love our brew products. But we also recently came out with instant products, just add water. And as much as I do love brewing, I do find often, just in busy life, it's like just have to boil water and pour it. That's pretty fast and easy. And we have a matcha blend that is, we just get this really, really exceptional matcha from Japan, from a family farm in Japan. And it's like so green. Like I open it up and every time I'm like, how is it so bright green? And a lot of the matcha lattes and stuff out there, they're using like culinary grade matcha. And you'll notice it's just duller, it's more oxidized, it's not as the leaves aren't as good. It's like, supposed to hold up to baking and that sort of thing, whereas we're using a ceremonial grade matcha, which there's debate over the use of that word, but for the sake of, how people, it's a drinking grade matcha is another way of putting it. And it's really phenomenal. So yeah, that's one that I love a lot. And then yeah, I'm a big fan of our Calm as well. And then we also have an instant Deep Dream cacao, which has a little bit more like, okay, this one Calm is gonna just downshift you, and Deep Dream cacao is like it's time for bed. And that one has been great as part of my sleep stack, as it were.
Yeah, they're so well-rounded, so good. And I love that you lean on all kinds of herbal traditions, not just Western herbs, but Chinese as well, a lot of Chinese and even Ayurvedic. So it's just really
Mhm.
exciting to have such exposure to all these different cultures while still having a really easy to make brew. Well, so you've been in business for a while, and what kinds of things do you have around the corner? Any kind of like new ventures that you think are going to be just really exciting? Maybe even an acquisition or a book, or what's like your dream that you have going on that you'd like to step into as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, thanks. It's a great question. And, it's one that's I've always got so many ideas and so many, visions for it. You mentioned acquisition. And so that is, I'd say at this point, it's like I, I think I'm always somebody who's going to just be a bit more, uh private and kind of niche in my own like way that I approach things. And it would be amazing to get Rasa, like have everything dialed to the point where I'm not concerned about the values getting eroded, and then have the right partner come in and help it to get to more people and to really scale it. I'm really good at the 0 to 1 part, but I'm less good at like the 1 to 10, or less interested in that. And so having somebody that would be doing the 1 to 10, or 0 to 5 and 5 to 10, however you want to put it. But 0 to 1 is that's like the startup phase. So yeah, that would be amazing. And in the more near term, you know, I'm, I'm, I'm it feels like the next frontier in marketing is in person, local, like really connecting with people. And I think we're all getting a bit tired of the noise on social media and on the internet in general. And it's just so much noise. And it feels like one of the ways to cut through the noise is like, okay, we're gonna just like talk to people, for real, and meet people and do more guerrilla marketing type stuff and more grassroots, and go a bit deeper on local and a bit deeper on relationships. And so that's something that I'm also very excited about. And one thing that we do also want to do is partner with herbalists who can help us demo our product at stores that we're in the Rocky Mountain region for Whole Foods, and then also on the West Coast a bit, because we're realizing too, it's the education is really significant. There's a lot of education to be done about these herbs, and why is this a bit more expensive than other things, and what are you actually getting for that? And it's because you're getting a very potent dose of adaptogens in each blend. It's a clinically relevant dose. And we're like, oh, instead of having just kind of demo people, like let's get a team of herbalists that we can train and have out there and go share, because they're going to be the best at talking about herbs.
I feel like I'm on like the front lines right now, hearing the most innovative strategies before they come out. That's very exciting because Rasa is always very exciting and innovative and very, very sure of their values. I love that. And when you say like because you're not quite in the startup, you're still technically startup, but you have a team, right? And you
Yeah, we
have
have a team. Yeah,
and
yeah, we're
you've
8 people.
and you've sought out investors, correct?
Hmm.
You have investors.
We did a
So
crowdfunding.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You had this like really giant crowd. Oh my gosh, this
We
giant
had a
campaign.
giant crowdfunding. Yeah. It was the
That was
world's most successful food and beverage crowdfunding.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And that was all grassroots. That was just talking it up
That was
direct
talking it up, and then we did also get some sort of standard
match.
investors, more
Yeah.
sophisticated investors, and then basically half of that round was there was like 2,600 people. That was half of the money, about $2 million, and then about 50 people that were the other $2 million.
And did people actually like invest to have stake in the game? Is that what it was? Yeah,
Yeah, they have equity. Yeah.
that's right. That's a really very amazing initiative. And what is the name of that actually called? Go.
We did it through WeFunder. That's the platform that we used. There's a number of different platforms now that do it, but we liked working with WeFunder. They were great.
So like social equity, is that what it's called? The actual
It's I mean community funding, community round.
Yeah,
You think,
that's
yep,
it.
yep,
Yeah. Nice. Well, that's a good name for it. How
yeah.
cool. Cool. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of herbalists in Colorado, I imagine too, and lots of people health and wellness to tap into. But I think that's so great. It's been such a pleasure talking to you and getting a little bit of an insight as to what's going on and um hearing like what kind of the future might hold for Rasa and just yeah, it's good work. It's good work. Do you have any closing thoughts that you'd like to share about like health and wellness, knowing that most of us listening to this are like health and wellness providers or people who are generally interested in wellness?
Well, actually, I have a question for you to ask me, which
Great.
is there anything in particular that, because I know that you're working with a lot of people who are starting up their own businesses, and is there anything that you feel that I could share particularly that would be just helpful for anybody listening in terms of getting their thing up and off the ground?
Well, I think that in particular, like, I think you already do so much thought leadership throughout the company. So it's like, I also wonder like how much thought leadership like I can look forward to seeing from you like on LinkedIn or other venues where you represent this in a different kind of more of a capacity. And the benefits of, of growth where we can really see it from all sides, like the all personal sides,
Mm.
as to the why Rasa exists. And like I said, it comes through so clearly in the company and in the products themselves. So, do you ever feel like you could step into that? And do you feel like that's of importance to Rasa? But also maybe the work-life balance component has always been something that we focus on too. It's how do you manage this company while also managing a healthy personal life with boundaries? Because that's not a very clear terrain that we have going in where it literally is all around us at all times.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a great question. And I've been a bit stepped back from the business for the last 2.5 years because I had some personal crises that I needed to take care of that were quite substantial. And so just took the time that it took. And some of that was also health crises because I did dramatically burn myself out the first 7 years working at Rasa. And so I've just stepped back into the CEO role about a month ago, after having somebody else run it for the last 2.5 years, and so that is one thing that I'm, considering is how to put that thought leadership out there without feeling like, I'm not really somebody who likes to be a public personality or who wants to be an influencer. And so finding like what are my proper boundaries that feel good? Because sometimes I'm genuinely inspired. Like it was wonderful. It's wonderful to do this. I'm so glad you asked me to do this. And it's like, this is great, an intimate conversation. So what are the boundaries that make sense for my own unique individuality? Because entrepreneurship is a long haul. And so one of the things that I have learned is that like I have to work with how does my mind work what are the limits of my body? Like what do I naturally enjoy, and keep it in that territory and then make it, what works within that. So I'm in the process right now of considering, how to use LinkedIn and how much to share, and, and share where and about what, and all of those sorts of things. And then, yeah, in terms of boundaries and work-life balance, I think the one piece of advice that I wish I had listened to, and that I would like to pass on to anybody, is just work with your body and your mind. And it's very easy to hold yourself to a standard that you see out there and says, like, well, that person's working this much and they're having this much success, and so that means that I should. And it's just like, you have your own nervous system, you have your own idiosyncrasies and strengths. And if you work within that, then you're going to be aligned with what is meant to be created through you.
That was such excellent advice, Lopa. I really appreciate that message. And I really do feel that your products represent that
Hmm.
truly. Well, thank you so much for coming on this evening and sharing a little bit of your story with us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for listening.
You're welcome. Have a good rest night, everybody.